One of the expectations that you have from your loved ones, especially your partner, is that they would be there for you when you are in a vulnerable position in your life, when you're struggling and you need someone to be there to support you. But guess what? When that time comes in your life, the narcissist is the first one to run away. The narcissist is the first one to display absolute and pure selfishness and self-centeredness and abandon you in the middle of nowhere without giving a damn about what happens to you. It is when you fall ill or when you get sick, they leave you on your own and you are supposed to take care of yourself, and that is when you are shocked to your core, because the way they treat you is beyond unacceptable. And that is what we are going to talk about in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In this episode, we will know 7 ways a narcissist acts when you fall ill. Before we get started, please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel by pressing the subscribe button and push that bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post over here. Also, if you're listening to this episode on a podcast channel, make sure to follow and subscribe as well. Let's first get started with your experiences. When you fell ill or got sick, how did the narcissist react? How did the narcissist treat you? Drop your experiences in the comments below. They get mad at you for abandoning your responsibilities. What are your responsibilities as per the narcissist? Your responsibilities are to cook for them, to clean for them, to be their sex object that they can use and throw, to tiptoe around them, to be hyper vigilant at all times, to read their mind and know their unexpressed needs and meet them as well, and at the same time have no needs of your own. You are not supposed to fall ill. You cannot get sick. You cannot have any weaknesses that we all have as humans, because then they would hate you. Then that would become the reason for their devaluation. Once you fall ill or get sick, they cannot comprehend that you are not this idealized version that they have created in their head. So the moment you fall ill or you get sick, you are treated the worst for being weak, for being human. And that is when you are abandoned the most, because you could not keep up with the standards that they had set for you. They gaslight and devalue you when you are sick and vulnerable through breadcrumbing so that you can feel taken care of by them. You need to understand that a narcissist does everything with a malicious intention. It's not for you, it's always for them, even if it looks like it is for you. When you fall ill or get sick, they might take you to the doctors, they might get you some medication, but just understand that it is done for the sake of doing it. They do not mean anything. They are not doing it because they care for you. They are doing it so that they could use it against you later in the future when you do not comply, when you do not obey, when you do not give in. They would revise the past and take you back and recall every single thing, every single penny they spent on you, and then create this sense of obligation so that you feel guilty, and out of that guilt, you do the things that you would not have done otherwise. Also, if others are observing the narcissist in this moment, quite in a very calculated way, they would start taking care of you. They would become this nicest version of theirs that you do not get to see often, and then would do things for you, like cook for you, get you medication, or massage you, or do things that they would not have done otherwise, just to impress others, just to get their supply, just to get their admiration. See what a wonderful husband he is. See what a caring wife she is. None of it would be true, but it would be done for adulation. It would be done for acceptance. Again, this becomes an obstacle later for you because you can't prove your point. You can't tell the world that you have been dealing with a monster, because the image that they have projected to the world does not match with your version of the story, and that is when you get isolated the most. They may disappear totally and get supply from somewhere else until you get better. This is one of the most selfish things a person can do to their loved one, can do to their child, can do to their spouse. You are supposed to be there, you're supposed to be present, and you are supposed to take care of the one who has always taken care of you, who has always been there for you, who has always provided for you, who has tried to take care of every single need that you have, even when it was not their responsibility. And when they need you, selfishly, like a coward, you escape. This makes you the worst humanity has ever to offer. You cannot do this to a person when you know that they depend on you. So a narcissist in this case would leave you for the wolves. They would leave you in the middle of nowhere and they would be gone completely. They might turn off their phone, they might cut off all the communication, they might just completely cut you off, and then you would be left in the shock to deal with this illness, to deal with this sickness on your own. For example, God forbid if you get diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and now you need chemotherapy and your chances are very less. You need your loved one to be your side at this point. They leave you. They completely leave you, do not show up, and now you have to go to the hospital for the chemotherapy, for the visits and so on, and there is no one there for you. And let's say by any chance if you make it, shamelessly they would show up later bringing up these excuses that this happened and that happened and this is why they had to go and this is why they had to abandon you. They would try to manipulate you because now you're better and now they can get supply again. This is how opportunistic they are. This is how they objectify you. You are no more than an object that they can use and throw whenever they want to. That is how their mentality works. It reminds them of their own frailty and vulnerability, causing them to feel disdain and disgust for the sick individual. When someone falls ill, when someone is struggling as a human being, as an empathetic human being, you would feel sympathy for this person, you would feel concern, you would wish them well, and so on. But what does a narcissist do? They feel disgusted. How shocking is that? They feel repelled by their sickness. Why? Because it reminds them of their own human condition. It reminds them of the time that probably would come in their life when they would be struggling the same way, and they do not want to entertain those ideas at all. They do not want to think and believe that they are this weak like this human being who is sick, and they could get ever sick like this. They could ever be in a position like this. So the disgust they have towards this possible future, they project it on to this sick person and feel repelled by them. Do not come near them, do not touch them, or do not even visit them, hate them, call them weak, call them this, that, and the other. Basically shame them, belittle them for getting sick, for falling ill. How crazy is that? Did this happen to you? If yes, drop your experiences below and help other survivors feel validated. Complaining about the medical expenses. This is by far the biggest one. Let's say the narcissist stays and takes you to the doctors or pays for your hospital visits and so on, spends on your medical expenses, pays them for you. They do not do it wholeheartedly. Every single penny kills a part of them. I have witnessed it personally. My father is one of the biggest malignant narcissists I have ever come across in my whole life so far. And this was one of his biggest things. He did not like spending money, especially when you would fall ill or when you get sick. It was a nuisance for him. He would rather get rid of you than pay for your medical expenses. He would not take care of it at any all. And if he had to, it would kill him. He would count every single penny that he did, that he spent on you. And that is what was the craziest thing, because then you as a child, or let's say my mother as a spouse, would feel a burden. Now, why am I here? Probably I am a nuisance and I should not be here. I do not have the right to exist. Why did I fall ill at the first place? And then you learn to suppress your illnesses, suppress your sickness, and it shows up later in different and worse forms. So they hate you for spending on you, which means again they do not connect with you, they do not care for you. You die, they would get another. They would just find a new object to play with. They don't care about your well-being. All that matters is the source of supply, how they can get easily, and how they do not get to spend resources, financial or other, on people they are connected with. They become frustrated and hostile and start punishing you in quite unacceptable ways. A narcissist's go-to emotion is aggression. Everything that they feel is covered and layered with anger, because that is the easiest to feel, easiest to project, and easiest to use to gain control of the environment. So that is what they do. If they can't show their aggression quite overtly, they would start attacking you quite indirectly. They might cancel your appointments without you knowing them. They might create chaos the moment you have to leave for the hospital. They may destroy your medicines. They may destroy your reports, or they may conspire and somehow get wrong data and wrong results to be shown in your lab reports so that you get diagnosed with something that you do not actually have. That is the extent of their hostility. That is how aggressive they can be, and that is how punitive they are. They might turn everything around so that you suffer even more because of the abuse than the actual illness you're struggling with. All in all, I would say they are not supportive, they are not present, they are not there for you, and the devastating impact of their absence is the shock. You are betrayed one more time, and you are now supposed to realize that it was all a lie, and this is the monster that you are with. And it breaks a person down to know that they are with a person who is emotionally dead. It just kills you emotionally, and those wounds are the bigger ones than the actual physical wounds that you have to heal. I hope you related with this video and you found it insightful. If you did, please make sure to like, drop a comment to let me know how you related with this, and make sure to subscribe as well if you're new to my channel. I will talk with you in the next one. Till then, let the healing begin.